I say we move on to the next topic here. Pascal Siakam is back. He's been back for a few games now, and I don't have his averages up in front of me, but he's playing well, and
I
he's
got him.
providing a good leadership role for guys like Scotty Barnes now too. So I'm excited to see him back in there. Obviously, always been a great defender and a great cutter as well.
Yeah. His scoring splits are 17.9 points per game, 7.1 rebounds, 3.7 assists, 46, 33, 75. So I mean, immediately his shooting's taken a little bit of a dive. It's not terrible, but he just came off injury. Last year was a slew of injuries and inconsistency, getting used to the being the number one guy in the role.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been a lot for him to get used to. I mean, and now he's just joining a different system than he was even having trouble getting used to last year, with a crowded front court with sharing with Chris Boucher, Achua, Barnes, and now like the developed Anunoby, who arguably is probably the best standout player so far. You could say he's a massive uh, improved player this year, most improved.
Yeah.
But it's he's just back into a different situation, and I mean he's doing fine. Like his 46, 33, 75 are decent shooting splits, so,
Yeah.
especially at the volume he has. He's obviously taking less shots. He's very similar to
Yeah.
when he won most improved, and
Yeah,
then
18
the
and 8's
following year.
not bad, and he's got decent shooting splits, and he's just getting back into it. So, I could see him getting, back above 20 points per game on good efficiency, no problem.
Yeah, and it's actually his defense has taken a pretty huge hit, which happens when you come off injury. Like you got to get back. Like defense is something you play. You have to be on court to play. Like you can practice defense all you want, but like it just comes down to being on the court, learning, getting back into the groove.
Yeah,
He's been
being
back for 11
conditioned.
games. Like
Yeah.
his defensive rating is 113 right now. Usually it's been around 103 or 104. So he's usually an outstanding defensive player, and I'm sure he'll get back to that. It's just like I said, new system, just came off injury. I'm
Yeah.
not too worried there. Uh,
Yeah. I mean, he had a pretty serious injury. So I think, it's fair to expect there to be a little bit of growing pains for him to come back, but I'm not too worried. So
yeah, and I mean, him being back now, I've only gotten a chance to watch one game, and he looked fine. And I think one of them missed the game anyway. OG or yeah, OG was out, so it's like he was just in the start. It was just him and Scotty Barnes. I was like, okay, like this is fine. But when OG, I haven't seen a game when OG comes back, but I can only imagine, like as crowded as it, if he's not hitting shots, and obviously Scotty Barnes, he can't if he's not going to hit the three like he normally does. I mean, he's not. He is a little a below average shooter. He shoots more in volume, so he can hit it. It's just his accuracy is not the best. So if he's having those struggles along with a guy like Scotty Barnes, do they really fit next to each other? Especially because they're both very like ball heavy. Like Scotty Barnes is a better playmaker, or at least will be very soon. So you imagine they're going to want the ball in his hands more, but then you're taking it out of your star's hands. So I don't I don't see the long term fit with Scotty Barnes, and I do think that at the beginning of the season I was like, "It's ridiculous. Why would they think about trading Siakam?" But then OG has really come out into like a fringe all star type numbers. So I'm like maybe it's time. Like OG's the better defender and the better shooter, not the better overall scorer. Like he can't
yeah.
create like Siakam can, but
No, OG is great. I mean, he's having a breakout year. His scoring's up about 5 or 6 points per game than it
mhm,
was before. So, and yeah, he's a great defender. So I think, and he fits pretty well next to Barnes,
Scotty.
just because he's a bit, or yeah, Barnes, because he's a bit more athletic than Pascal. And you get down the floor a little easier. So
Mhm.
I think, they're all great players, though. I'd love to see them make it work with Pascal.
Yeah. I mean, it'd either be a super big lineup, somebody would have to move. I mean, granted, all of them are good at defense. All of them are good at offense. So it's not the worst thing. It's you don't miss much by taking one and putting them in that 6-man role. However, all
Sure.
three of them are starting caliber players that you'd hate to
Yeah.
see go on the bench. And I think it might even be the best just to look into trades. With Pascal, like be like, hey man, like I don't think it would be out of discontent. Like I think they'd be like, "We're fine here. You want to go compete? They're probably not going to be competing intensely for a while, for at least 1 or 2 more years. So I think, and they could get something out of either, whether it be an all-star point guard or fringe all-star, or a better center, which I think is the center is what they really need. As they have Van Vliet, and they can come out with. I mean, really, centers are once piece. Like you go out and get like Steven Adams for like a bad contract, and he would probably fit fine.
I mean, honestly, who they should get is their old guy, Jonas Valanciunas. Would be awesome for them right now. Solid salary. And, we just saw he scored 7 out of 7 threes in the first half of their game the other day. So, he's figured out that 3-point shot now, too. He leads the league in 3-point shooting percentage, only on 2-ish attempts per game. But
that would be a great fit. But then you could, on Pelicans side, you get Pascal's defense. And honestly, I'm not even like people say they're stacked with their 2 forwards. I'm like, BI can play too.
Wow. I wasn't saying Siakam for Valanciunas. I don't know about that. Just maybe getting Valanciunas. I don't know. I mean,
oh no, not straight up. I'm sure
might be giving up a lot.
Yeah, New Orleans would have to put in more. But he'd be a better fit for the team, Valanciunas, at the current state of things, the way it is.
Yeah, it'd be a good fit. I agree.
I'm just glad to see Siakam. He struggled a lot last year with his efficiency and his role, and he seems to have a lot more help. Van Vliet's not constantly injured, unlike last year. He's out there. He's not so. The expectation and what they needed him to do is far less his role. So it's nice. I'd like to see him get his more shots up, but at the same time, they're trying to develop their 4th overall pick. They got OG's blossoming. Van Vliet's obviously going to get his touches and trying to figure out what's going to go on at the either 1 or 2 guard, wherever Van Vliet's going to play, or the opposite of Van Vliet. So they got a lot to figure out, but I'm not too worried about him. I think he's shown enough in the last 11 games where he's going to be fine.
Yeah, absolutely.